Let's read it. The fourth verse.
Yes, sir. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
So it says, come out
For,
of her, my people. The first step in all of this is to separate ourselves from the ideology of America, from the spirit of America, and also begin to follow the law. But eventually, we're going to have to leave altogether. And the overall signal for that time is when all these nations they use to operate against us, when they begin to take their passports and go back to their own homelands. That means that they got tipped off by their embassy that something is about to happen in America. See, Jeremiah tell you these nations are going to pack up and begin to go into their own countries. Well, how would that happen? Well, before war, all the diplomats get together and there's a recall of their citizens. So when you see that, guess what? When they're on a plane, we're on a plane. Get your passports. That's all I can say right now on that. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. Read.
for her sins have reached unto heaven, and God have remembered her iniquities.
Our prayers has gone up to the Almighty. He has heard every one of them. Our people are suffering. It tell you that when our prayers go up, they're placed into a censer before the Almighty. He hears every prayer. And then the response that our prayer has been heard is sent back in the earth as lightning. So when you hear the lightning, you know that the Most High heard the prayers that went up between the last time you seen lightning. That's a message to remind us that our prayers are heard. It tells you in the book of Revelation, he sends lightning. As long as you see lightning in the earth anywhere, know that your prayers have been heard. Right? For her sins have reached into heaven, and God have remembered her sins. Because Esau, the Vatican, they went beyond what the prophecy said was allowed for them to do against us. They were never supposed, as governments, they were never supposed to treat us like they treated us. And the Most High remember that. And that's why I tell brothers and sisters, never seek vengeance against anyone, because you're getting in the way of the Most High's judgment. Who can judge those who have did things against us better than our God? Greater than our God. So if you take the judgment in your hands, you know what you're doing? You're getting in the way of the judgment that should come on them by our God. Six, read it.
Verse 6, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works.
Read.
And the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double.
A judgment is coming. You notice this runs directly from Revelation 17, shown to John, into the 18th chapter. All power goes to the beast 7 years before the judgment. That 1 hour is 7 years. It's a space of 7 years. And then the Most High is warning what's going to happen to that one little country that was made in such a short space. Let's go that to a judgment is coming. 16 and 18.
Verse 18, and there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake and so great.
Read.
And the great city was divided into three parts, and the cities of the nations fell. And great Babylon came in remembrance before God to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath.
Look at that,
And
folks. Look at that. And what? And every what?
And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found.
Because you know what? Tsunamis. Once the nuclear reactors go off, there will be tsunamis. That's going to cover some of the islands. Let me tell you, Christ handled everything. He showed John everything. This is how eventually the Most High free the children of Israel who's bound, who's been enslaved. The judgment of God shown to John on the Isle of Patmos. Let's go back to Revelations 18 and 10, Elder Lawyer. So don't tell us we don't know what we're talking about here. You need the Bible to be able to break down geopolitically what's going on. Read the 10th verse.
10. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, the mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come.
For in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Now, folks, even after this, believe it or not, they'll still be traveling and all that to some degree. But the whole world at this time is going to be on permanent martial law. Permanent martial law. And it's deep that they don't hide anything, Elder Lawyer. During our Patreon yesterday, make sure y'all join Patreon. There's a lot of conversations we have there. A brother pointed this out to me, Elder Lawyer, that when you drive, there's a mall in California. And that at the front of the mall, it has what? It have Nebuchadnezzar with the eagle wings and body, 2 of them, pillars, in front of a mall. Like one big shrine. So, right? So it's not, let me tell you, they're telling you right off that they're the daughters of Babylon. They be showing straight out who they are ritualistically, right in clear sight for those who understand and know the scriptures. They're telling you they're the daughters of Babylon, that this whole country, the republic and everything was built off of a Babylonian ideology. So now the Bible prophesies the eventual fall of Babylon and or her daughter. In 1 hour is thy judgment come,
No
11
more
of the
at
all. Read.
The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught.
In 1 hour, all those great riches have come to nothing. Read.
And every shipmaster and all the companies and ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, Which city is like unto this great city?
They're going to look back and say, man, there was no other place as great as America on earth. Read.
And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate.
Read.
Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her.
Look at that. The judgment of the people who have enslaved the children of Israel and the countries who have built their markets on our what? On our backs. Rejoice over her, thou heavens. The angels will rejoice. And ye holy apostles and prophets, for God have avenged you on her. Tell me we're not the children of Israel. Tell me we weren't the prophets. Read.
And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all.
No more empire. The whole empire, the corporation will be dissolved. Read.
And the voice of harpers and musicians.
And what, Elder Lawyer?
And musicians.
And musicians. You notice that? It's the culture that made America more distinct than any other country on earth. Because why? The artistic spirit that came through servitude. The music that came out of America. Sam Cooke, Marvin Gaye, The Temptations, Michael Jackson, James Brown, Whitney Houston. On and on and on. It distinguished us. Then you have what? Benjamin music. The music of the Benjamites resonated with, where even though they didn't know the name of the Most High, they was singing, they was talking about a Yah. They was talking about the Lion of Judah in their music. A distinct craft, if we want to use the word, that came out of chattel slavery, where we began to create music in a way that the world have never seen into light. Guess what? There will be no phones to look at. There will be no pastimes to actually distract us from this reality. And the whole world, our people in particular, will eventually have to deal with what is. It's been written. For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. Elder Lloyd, that's ended here.
24. And in her were found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth.
So it is written, and so it shall be done. I've quantified through the Spirit of the Almighty, through the Spirit of Christ today, everything that have happened, how David talked about this time, who will be behind taking us down, and how it was shown to John on what? On the Isle of Patmos by Christ himself, exactly what we're living through right now. We were here before America became the United States of America. And we'll be here well after it's dissolved. We're the children of Israel. And we're back. With that, we will have, once this weather subsides, we will have some more mass baptisms throughout the whole year. If you don't have a place to gather in your particular area, we're working to make sure that happens. But none of it can happen without your support.